Olá pessoal, estamos aqui dentro do banheiro e no banheiro também tem muita história para ser contada. And now, Barzel, tell us the history here.
It starts on the Mayflower. The Mayflower, they boarded in July of 1620 in Holland. And they sailed it to England, and they loaded up with more passengers and another ship. They weren't able to take over to America. The ship sprung leaks, and they found themselves unable to use both vessels. And this was a real problem because the investors who paid them the money, lent them the money to make the journey, wanted to change the terms of the agreement. They doubled the size of passengers. They collected a set of settlers to start the plantation, as they called the new settlement, equal in number to the separatists. The separatists were risking their lives with people that they knew nothing of and they had no connection to. But they agreed to do it. They got on the ship with them, and they shuffled down. Half of the separatists and half of the non-separatists could not fit on the Mayflower. 102 passengers, equally divided between the two groups, sailed in September of 1620, but they couldn't make it there. They had to come back twice, and so it was late September. They're making a voyage of the North Atlantic, not a time to start a colony in America. 6 weeks the voyage went. Serious stormy weather, to the point where the vessel had to take its sails off and just ride the oceans by the waves for the times. And one man was swept overboard, but grabbed a line. Thanks, his ancestors are very grateful for this. That's how they're born. But he grabbed a line and was fished out of the water by the sailors. An amazing feat of rescue. And they got to the coast of Cape Cod, New England, and the captain realized they weren't where they wanted to go. They hoped to go to the Jersey shore of the Hudson River, just outside what we now call New York City. Much warmer, much more hospitable to farming, and very close to a Dutch settlement that would allow them support and protection. But that wasn't to be. They got to Cape Cod and they tried to sail around, but they made it back. The wind shifted miraculously at the last moment and shifted them back north, and they came to the tip of Cape Cod, what is called Provincetown. And there in Provincetown, they anchored for 6 more weeks while groups of men explored the coast of Cape Cod in November and December, looking for some place to settle. They failed to make friendly contact with the Indians. They managed to antagonize them, causing a sudden attack on them, making it impossible for them to stay on Cape Cod. They continued their search for places. The first harbor they came to was Plymouth. And they came and saw it was a village had been there, it was abandoned. The natives had settled it and cleared land for fields, but there was nobody inhabiting it. And they said, this is a place to go. They could have pushed on to Boston, but they didn't. They stopped at Plymouth, and Plymouth had been explored by other they had maps. It was marked on the charts. So they went there, and they came in a storm so bad, they appeared in the harbor, where the wind broke the mast and broke the rudder. They all but perished. They pulled into an island and built a fire. Imagine building a fire in a sleet and rainstorm and freezing cold. And they survived the night. And December 21st, they came to the shores of Plymouth, and they went back to Provincetown, having said they found a place, and they brought the ship there. And December 24th, 1620, they looked on the shores of their own home. And you can see, not everyone was excited. All the talk of being a people of God and the faith of the scriptures and the separatist religion didn't focus in their minds as much as survival. They knew that they were going to be put to it in a very severe test. The vessel could not come any closer than what you see in the painting here. They were over a mile from shore when they anchored in the harbor. And they had to come in by rowboat, and the rowboats were not able to beach, but would ground some distance from the shore, and they would wade through freezing water to get on shore. Every trip was an ordeal with the weather and the elements. and they all got wet, they all got chilled, most got sick, and half of them died. But they all proved to be remarkable characters of care for each other. The professional soldier Miles Standish hired as their military consultant a mercenary by trade for the Dutch, proved to be a tender, compassionate nurse in that moment there, winning the favor of the separatists by his warm help to them. They built 4 or 5 houses, and they struggled through the winter. And in the process, before spring, just as spring broke out, they were able to make contact with the Indians on a friendly basis, and their survival was assured, well, at least established.
É isso aí, pessoal, mais uma aula sobre Plymouth. Não esqueça de curtir esse vídeo, de compartilhar, de passar aí pra frente, que assim esse conteúdo chega a mais pessoas. Let's go!